What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as expected, yes, the leaks are pouring on in. Of course, right when the playtest goes live, you already know there was going to be a couple of people dropping a bunch of information, and I gotta be real with you guys. It kind of seems planned to a certain extent. It wouldn't shock me if this was all a planned event. The developers knew they were going to be releasing some of the footage, and they just had a couple of people drop a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I know they said that, they're going to prioritize showing us instead of, talking. So, it wouldn't shock me if this was their plan. But ladies and gentlemen, we have so much stuff to go ahead and discuss today. So, of course, if you guys do enjoy what you hear in today's video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. Everything Call of Duty, Battlefield, Splitgate, and even, like I said, we're going to dabble in some Gears of War later on as well, related. So, if you guys are interested in that stuff, subscribe and hit that bell. And we do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys are interested, got to link that channel down in the description of this video. Guys, this game is looking like I'm not trying to get myself overly hyped because I understand the situation that we are currently in. But all I really wanted to see is that this game was nothing like 2042. That's all I wanted to see. And right when I started to see screenshots, gameplay, so on and so forth, it gave me an instant vibe of Battlefield 3 mixed with Battlefield 4 and maybe some of the movement slash gunplay of something more modern like 2042 or Battlefield 5. The absolute perfect in-between of both scenarios. Now, again, this can change. Everything is subject to change here. But in its current spot, I can't lie to you guys when I say I am pretty impressed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the leaks have probably been taken down by now, so it's going to be a bit harder to find the footage and, pictures, so on and so forth. But I did save a bunch of this stuff onto my PC, so if you guys are interested, you can go ahead and hit me up over on Twitter. My DMs are always open, and you could just say, yo, bro, can you hit me up with some of the leaked stuff? And, whatever I have, I'm going to try to send it over to you guys, of course, if I still, am able to hold on to such stuff. But let's dive deep into what we are actually witnessing here. First and foremost, the game is looking phenomenal when it comes to how grounded it looks. Not only do the operators look like modern, operators, it fits the vibe of what a Battlefield game is all about. Fingers crossed the store doesn't come in later and completely ruin the atmosphere of this game. But based off of what I witnessed, the operators look really solid. But on top of that, the flow of the game looks very solid, between the gunplay looking extremely crispy, the hit reg, and also when it comes down to the movement. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is no more tack sprinting, at least from what I witnessed. Now, this could, like I said, change later on, and the person who was playing in this footage wasn't the, I don't want to be mean, but they were definitely not the best of players out there, so it's hard to tell what a good or really skilled player is going to be capable of in this brand new Battlefield experience. But from what I see, it looks like a basic, grounded, experience like we would have back in the day in an OG COD game or an OG Battlefield game, which is something that this community has been asking for a very long time, and I'm all on board for this. Secondly, the looks of the maps that we are going to be having here. One of my biggest complaints in a lot of previous Battlefield games is that they always hyper-prioritize vehicle combat over infantry. And don't get me wrong, vehicle combat is always going to be a part of the Battlefield DNA, and it should always be a part of the Battlefield DNA. But infantry combat is always the heart and core of a Battlefield game regardless. And, I feel like as time has gone on, they keep trying to design maps to allow vehicles to really thrive. But the way that I saw from this, I don't know if all the maps are going to represent the same style of, map that we saw right here in the playtest. But this is urban warfare. This is exactly what we've been asking for ages now. Nice and condensed, good lanes, a map that's good for infantry to be able to go around and rotate, while at the same time, vehicles and tanks can still play it, but they have to be smart about how they position themselves. They can't just go on a hill on the outskirts and snipe people all game long. No, you have to go into this condensed city, this condensed urban environment, which means you're going to be putting yourself at risk from people up in buildings with rockets or, ambushing you. So you have to be cautious. You have to actually be a skilled person when it comes to vehicles. I think this is the perfect in-between, and once again, it's something that we have been begging for when it comes to the map rotation. And if a lot of the other maps are going to resemble this, I'm going to be happy. And on top of that, it looks like it's perfectly fit for 64 players. I'll be honest, I was one of the people who didn't mind 128 when it came to Battlefield 2042 because I like the chaos, but the maps just didn't make up for it. And I'll be real, hopping back to 64, you could tell they are hyper-prioritizing these maps to work with 64 players. And boy, oh boy, I can't even explain to you guys how pumped I am to actually try out some of these map formats because they look solid and the destruction on them look even better. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they showcase some of the destruction as well. And, we all said, oh, the trailer looks good and all, but, it might be a little bit of a clickbait. No. What we saw in the little 5-second snippet a while ago is identical to what you're going to be able to play with. The destruction looks solid, but at the same time, not overwhelming. You see, for me personally, I don't know about you guys, leave your opinions down in the comment section, but when it comes to destruction in Battlefield, there needs to be a middle ground. I don't want every single building to be leveled out, so it's just, you're playing on a flat map where snipers and vehicles will dominate, but destruction is still a key component, and it needs to be in a Battlefield game. I personally think it's the perfect in-between where you can destroy pretty much the whole building, but the foundation will still be intact, so you can still run around as an infantry player and not feel like you're exposed every single 3 seconds that you go out into the map. Also, the atmosphere of this game is pretty dang good. Now, again, we don't really know too much just yet. We'll see if it can, touch upon the Battlefield 1 levels. But between the actual voice lines of, the people running around the battlefield, or just simply the soundtrack that they're using, it's very nice, ladies and gentlemen. Very solid. Again, you guys have to see the footage for yourselves to actually, take it all in. But it's not going to be Angel screaming at you saying, oh, that's just how it works out sometime. No. You're not going to be having that screaming at you every 5 seconds. It's actually going to feel like you're in a true war, which is very solid. Moving over to the UI of this game, I kind of like it, if I'm going to be honest with you. Again, it's giving me a lot of Battlefield 3/Battlefield 4 vibes. It's almost like they knew exactly what the community wanted. I have heard some complaints that it's a little too much in your face, which, they could probably reduce it down a bit. That's why they're having these play tests in the first place, to get, feedback on how these things look, feel, so on and so forth. So, things could definitely change. The load-in screen looks pretty solid, being able to spawn on teammates. You get a helmet cam again, so you can see where they're at, what they're looking at, what their situation is, so you don't just spawn into random death, so that's a huge plus. And of course, the class system has returned, ladies and gentlemen, but of course, with a little bit of a twist, apparently. Now, we do have, it looks like, Assault, Engineer, there's going to be some type of support class, and then Recon. But with the support class, I think it's going to be a double whammy. It's going to be medic and support. So basically, if you drop down a box, you're going to have both ammunition and meds in the same one, or maybe the support class has to pick and choose what they would prefer to do, meds or ammo. I'll be real with you, I don't mind this. I think it might be a little bit iffy for some people out there, but in all reality, it's so hard to get people to drop things for you in this game unless you're playing with an actual full squad of players who are going to be communicating and working together. When you're playing with all the randoms, you'll have tons of support players and tons of medics who just won't drop meds or ammo. It'll be nice, if you need meds and you see a support player, you can get both. Or if you see a medic and you need ammo, you could still get your ammunition from them. And it's a better chance of, if they drop a box on the map, it's going to be the box that you need, and it's going to help you benefit yourself in the fight. I don't know. I think I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to work and, play out. I'm curious, and I hope they don't mess around with it before all of us can publicly play it as well to see if it's good or bad when it comes to the class system in the game. But regardless, we have the classic class system. Assault's looking pretty decent. From the class that I saw, it's just a bunch of smokes and, smoke launchers, so on and so forth. So, I don't technically know what the rest of the gadgets are going to look like. We'll see. They're also implementing field specs again, so basically you're going to be getting perks as you progress throughout the matches. Level 1 for Assault is Grenadier, Level 2 is Flak, Level 3 is Gadget Reload, and Level 4 is Heavy Flak. Again, I don't know what all of these necessarily do, and also they get a med pen as well. But again, I'm just reading off what I can see here. So you are going to be able to pick from different field specs, I'm assuming, and you could choose what type of lineup that you want as you progress through the match. Again, awesome to see. I'll be real with all of you guys. I haven't seen anybody really complain about anything. I have scavenged all social media platforms, looked at tons of vids, and it seems like everybody is so satisfied off of what they just saw with only the playtest here, which is an alpha or something like that. I don't know. It's still early on, yet it looks incredible. I can't lie to you guys. It looks really solid compared to 2042, just the atmosphere alone. Again, I can see this game dropping with a ton of bugs and a ton of issues. Come on now. Even the GOATs like Battlefield 4 dropped with a tremendous amount of problems and had to be polished off over time. But this game right here that we are going to be getting looks, in my opinion, like it can polish off way better than a game like Battlefield 2042, and that's already a step in the right direction. I would say the only biggest complaint that I see online right now is that people are thinking the movement is too fast when, trust me guys, it's not fast at all, not even in the slightest. I would even argue that it looks partially slower than games like Battlefield 4. And the funniest thing about it is I keep seeing people come back and say, oh, this game looks too fast. Why can't we get it like Battlefield 4? And I'm thinking to myself, huh? Guys, I don't know if anybody even understood the movement in Battlefield 4. Low-key, the movement in Battlefield, the new Battlefield, looks more like Battlefield 3. Toned back, basic, but with elements of Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 2042, where you can have a little bit of movement tech, but it's not overpaced. It's not extraordinarily fast. And I feel like when you're looking at it, it's not going to be visually jarring. I think that's the biggest problem with a lot of the movement tech, is that it throws people off when they're watching the animations, And I think for the overall casual audience, that's not a good way to go, especially in a game as casual as Battlefield. I think they found the perfect middle ground, Anybody who says that Battlefield 4 is slower, I mean, guys, have you played Battlefield 4? Does anybody even know the movement in that game? And shoot, even if you don't know the movement in that game where you can spam B-hop and fly across the map, even the base sprint is pretty dang fast within that title. I think this is a good spot. But again, I don't know. That's just my opinion, and I want to know what you guys think down in the comment section as well. But ladies and gentlemen, again, like I said, I'm not going to try to overhype myself here, although I will say, it's very hard. It's very, 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 very hard right now. I'm not going to lie to you guys about it. I'm trying to keep a level head. But, for the first time, we're not seeing just a bunch of trailers to hype us up. Every single bit of information that we've, learned so far with the new Battlefield has been gameplay. Whether the developers meant for this to leak or not, they're kind of living up to their word, saying that we are going to see, proof before actual words. Now all we have to do is get actual hands-on. That's the next step here. Let everybody get into a beta, get some access into the title whenever they're ready, of course. Take your time, obviously, make sure it's polished. But I'm just saying the next step to having faith in DICE and understanding that they might turn things around is for us to actually play it. Although it looks good, it looks fun, it looks like a Battlefield game we have been begging for years. Until we actually get hands-on and we can critique it ourselves, I don't think it's a safe bet just yet. I don't, and I still think that we should be partially cautious about the future of this franchise. But at the same time, I mean, like I said, if you guys haven't seen the leaks just yet, hit me up over on Twitter. My DMs are open. I'll gladly send you guys all the stuff I have. I have a few video clips. I got some images, so on and so forth. And I can, you can see with your own eyes what we're talking about in today's video. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.